So in the last session we discussed the moment of inertia of a rod. Now in this session we consider the moment of inertia of a different bodies. So first we consider the moment of inertia of a ring. So what is the moment of inertia of a ring? In case of a ring there are four different cases. So here we consider a ring of mass m and radius capital R. So this is the ring of radius capital R and mass m. So this ring is rotated about an axis passing through center of mass and perpendicular to its plane. Moment of inertia of a ring about an axis passing through the center of mass and perpendicular to its plane. So it is denoted by letter IC. So here we consider M for mass of a ring and R for radius of a ring. Then what is its moment of inertia? Just for our convenience, we consider the process to find the moment of inertia. That is not the part of our syllabus, but for our convenience, we consider it. So consider the ring is made up of large number of small identical elements. Ring is considered to be made up of a small identical elements, each of mass dm. So dm for mass of each element. One element we consider here. So this is the element of mass dm. So it is very small. So question is, what is its distance from the axis of rotation? It is nothing but the radius of the ring. So apply our definition of the moment of inertia. So moment of inertia of an element is the product of mass and square of its distance from the axis of rotation. Mass is dm, distance is r, so therefore it is dm into r square. Product of its commutative loss, it is r square into dm. Now question is, how will you determine the moment of inertia of the whole ring? So this is the one element. So like that there are different large number of elements are there. So by using the same definition we calculate the moment of inertia of all these elements. So addition of the moment of inertia of all these elements is nothing but the moment of inertia of the ring. So for addition here we use the method of integration. There are two methods of addition, integration and summation. So here ring is of a uniform thickness, hence all the elements are of same mass. So that is why we use the process of integration. So moment of inertia of a ring is obtained by integrating this equation, integration of r square into dm. So if you consider any of the element, distance of that element from the axis of rotation is fixed. That is why r square is constant. Now integration of dm means what? The integration of dm means sum of the masses of all these elements. So if you add the masses of all the elements, we get the total mass of the ring. So integration of dm is nothing but the total mass of the ring, and it is capital M. And so that is why, what is the moment of inertia I? So I is equal to r square into m. So hence I is equal to mr square. So this mr square is the moment of inertia of the ring. For our convenience we use the letter IC for such a moment of inertia. Hence we get the formula for IC is mr square. If you compare this formula with I is equal to mk square, where k for radius of gyration, we get kc is equal to r here. Kc for what? It is for radius of gyration है. Compare this mr square with mk square. We get k square is equal to r square and hence k is equal to r. So that's formula for radius of gyration. In this case is k is equal to r. Now we consider the another cases. Case number 2. Moment of inertia of this ring about any diameter. Such a moment of inertia is denoted by the symbol It. So ring is a symmetric figure and therefore moment of inertia about any diameter is the same. So for our convenience we take the two diameters which are mutually perpendicular to each other. So consider this situation. So this red and blue pen indicates the two diameters which are mutually perpendicular to each other. Now we consider this one. It is the axis passing through the center and perpendicular to its plane, just like IC. So these are the three axes. So situation is like this. All the three axes are mutually perpendicular to each other and hence our theorem for perpendicular axis is applicable here. So we apply the theorem of perpendicular axis here. So these are the two diameters which are mutually perpendicular to each other. Hence, as the ring is a symmetric figure, what happens here? We get the moment of inertia about all the diameters same. So that moment of inertia is Id. And this one is the axis perpendicular end. So therefore moment of inertia is what? Ic. So what is our theorem for perpendicular axis? Iz is equal to Ix plus Iy. Similarly here, by the theorem of perpendicular axis we get, by theorem of perpendicular axis we get here Ic is equal to Id plus Idt, just like Iz is equal to Ix plus Iy. So hence we get Ic is equal to twice of Id. So this is a simple relation between the moment of inertia offering about an axis passing through center and perpendicular to plane and about any diameter. Now you are familiar with Ic. What is Ic? It is mr square, and so therefore mr square is equal to 2Id. Hence Id is equal to mr square upon 2. So this is the moment of inertia about any diameter. What is the radius of gyration here? Kd. It is r by root 2. So how will you get r by root 2? To compare this equation with I is equal to mk square. Hence k square is r square upon 2. Therefore k is r upon root 2. To avoid the confusion between the two radius of gyrations, in this case we use the symbol kd for it. So kd for radius of gyration about any diameter, it is r by root 2. Now we consider the case number 3. About tangent in the plane. About tangent in the plane. So in case of a ring, there are two tangents. Tangent perpendicular to the plane and tangent in the plane. So we consider here tangent in the plane. So this situation is like this. This one is the ring and tangent to this ring is like this. So this is the tangent in the plane and this one is the tangent perpendicular to the plane. So if you consider the tangent in the plane, it is parallel to any diameter. It is parallel to any diameter like this. So apply the parallel axis theorem. Apply. So this one is the situation. So this is the ring. This one is any of its diameter. So moment of inertia about the diameter is Id. And consider this one, ring which is in the plane. So moment of inertia is denoted by ITP, T for tangent, P in the plane end. So distance between these two parallel axes is nothing but the radius of the ring. So tangent in the plane is parallel to the diameter. So therefore we apply the theorem of parallel axis. What is our theorem of parallel axis? IO is equal to IC plus MR square. Comparison gives us here IO is nothing but ID. So by parallel axis theorem, IO, here we get ID, and instead of ITP and instead of IC here we use IT plus MR square. IO equal to IC plus MR square. As apply that situation here, we get ITP means tangent in the plane, moment of inertia about tangent in the plane is equal to moment of inertia about the diameter ID plus product of the mass and square of the distance between the parallel axis. So here that small r is nothing but capital R, and what is ID? It is mr square by 2. So we get mr square by 2 plus m into capital R square. By LCM it is 1 mr square plus 2 mr square. Therefore it is 3 by 2 mr square. So ITP means moment of inertia about the tangent in the plane is 3 by 2 mr square. Its radius of gyration KTP is root 3 by 2 into r. Compare the formula with mr square, we get k square is equal to 3 by 2 r square, and hence k is root 3 by 2 into r. And last case is moment of inertia about the tangent perpendicular to the plane. So fourth case is moment of inertia about tangent perpendicular to its plane. So this tangent is parallel to the axis passing through the center of mass. So this is the side view. Axis passing through center, therefore its moment of inertia is IC, and this one is the tangent which is perpendicular to the plane. So distance between these two parallel axes is again small r is what? Capital R. So by parallel axis, again apply the same situation, by parallel axis theorem. So by parallel axis theorem, IT perpendicular is what? IC plus MR square. IC is what? MR square. Small r is what? Capital R. So MR square plus MR square is what? 2MR square. So moment of inertia about the tangent perpendicular to its plane is 2mr square, and its radius of gyration KT perpendicular is root 2 into r. These are the four cases in case of a ring. See in brief, what is the first case? Moment of inertia of the ring about an axis passing through its center and perpendicular to its plane. Its proof is not related to our syllabus, but still we discuss it for our convenience. If we consider the ring is made up of large number of small identical elements, each of mass dm. Consider one such element whose distance from the axis of rotation is nothing but the radius of the ring. So by definition of the moment of inertia, we get moment of inertia of the element is dm into r square. For our convenience, we take it r square into dm. By integrating this moment of inertia, we get the total moment of inertia of the ring. So in case of integration, r square is constant, take outside the integration. Integration of dm means sum of the masses of all the elements, and that is nothing but the total mass of the ring. Hence total mass of the ring is capital M. So finally we get IC is equal to mr square, radius of gyration is only r. About any diameter, right? Second case. So ring is symmetric figure, therefore moment of inertia about any diameter is the same. So we select the two diameters which are mutually perpendicular to each other, and then we apply the theorem of perpendicular axis. IZ is equal to IX plus IY. We get here IC is equal to ID plus ID. Put the value of IC. So finally we get ID is equal to mr square by 2. Radius of gyration is r by root 2. Third case is tangent in the plane A. So tangent in the plane is parallel to the diameter A. So apply the parallel axis theorem. IO equal to IC plus mr square. Here we get ITP is 1. ID plus mr square. Put small r is equal to capital R. ID is equal to mr square by 2. So finally we get the answer 3 by 2 mr square. Radius of gyration is root 3 by 2 r. And the last case is moment of inertia about the tangent perpendicular to the plane ahead. So here we get moment of inertia by the parallel axis. IC plus mr square, we get 2 mr square. Our next topic is the moment of inertia of a uniform disk. So here we consider the proof of the one case, and then by using the parallel and perpendicular axis just like a ring, we get the moment of inertia about three another axes about diameter, tangent in the plane and tangent perpendicular to the plane. So moment of inertia of a uniform disk. So how will you determine the moment of inertia of a disk? So we consider here this one is the disk of mass m and radius capital R. To calculate its moment of inertia, we assume that this disk is made up of large number of small identical elements. Here that elements are in the form of rings and that rings are concentric. Here we say that thickness of the rings are same, not identical rings. So consider the situation like this. So this disk is made up of large number of concentric rings of equal thickness. So to calculate its moment of inertia, we consider any one of its ring. And from the moment of inertia of this one ring, we calculate the moment of inertia of the whole disk. So what is our given information? So here we use the letter capital M for mass of a disk, capital R for radius of a disk, and here we use the letter sigma for mass per unit area of a disk. Sigma for mass per unit area. So therefore here we get sigma is equal to mass per unit area, means mass upon area. So here we consider the surface area of the disk. Sigma is equal to mass is capital M, and what is the area of the disk? It is pi r square, because it is a circle. So surface area of the disk is pi r square. Now question is, how will you determine the mass of each ring? So here we consider what? Concentric rings. Disk is made up of concentric rings of equal thickness. So here we assume that thickness of the ring is dr. So here we consider only one ring. So thickness of this disk is dr, and distance of that ring from the center means it is nothing but the radius of the ring is small r. So small r is the radius of the ring, dr is the thickness, and everywhere the thickness is the same. So then what is the mass of this ring? So to find the mass of the ring, we use the concept sigma for mass per unit area. So we assume that Bm for the mass of ring, Br for thickness of the ring, and R for the radius of the ring. The ring which we consider here. So R for radius of the ring. So question is, what is the mass of the ring? So apply the concept of sigma. We get sigma is equal to mass of element. So here that element is nothing but the ring. So mass of element upon area of the element. So here mass of element is nothing but dm, and area of the element is what? So what is the area of the ring? The formula for area of the ring is circumference into thickness. How will you calculate the area of the ring? It is the product of circumference and thickness. So here circumference is 2 pi small r and thickness is what? dr. So cross multiplication gives us dm is equal to sigma into 2 pi r dr. So this is the mass of one element. Mass of one element, that is mass of the ring. Now this ring, this is made up of large number of such rings. That rings varies from the distance 0 to capital R. Means if you consider the innermost ring, it is in contact with the center, so its distance from the center is 0. And if you consider the outermost ring, then distance of that outermost ring from the center is capital R. Here we neglect that this thickness of the outermost ring. Is approximately distance of the outermost ring from the center is what? Capital R. And so addition of the moment of inertia of all the rings gives us the moment of inertia of a whole disk. So that is why we require the moment of inertia of the ring which we consider here. So what is the moment of inertia of an element? So apply the definition. Moment of inertia of the element is the product of mass and square of the distance from axis of rotation. The mass is dm and square of the distance from axis of rotation means what? R square. Put the value of dm here. So we get moment of inertia of the element is what? Sigma into 2 pi r dr into r square. So r square into r is r cube. So it is sigma 2 pi r cube into dr. This step is very important. Moment of inertia of one element. So how will you determine the moment of inertia of the whole body? It is the addition of moment of inertia of the all elements. For addition we use the method of integration. Here we use the definite integration, means the integration which possesses the limits. So moment of inertia of a disk is the integration of sigma into 2 pi r cube into dr, limits from 0 to capital R. Why the lower limit is 0? The innermost ring is in contact with the center, so its distance is 0, while the outermost ring is at a distance capital R from the center. For that we neglect the thickness of the outermost ring. So therefore here we get IC is equal to, which factors are constant? Sigma 2 pi is the constant, take outside the integration. Then we get only 0 to capital R of r cube into dr. What is the integration of r cubed dr? Then apply the formula of integration of the function x raised to n with respect to x is x raised to n plus 1 upon n plus 1. By using this formula, what is the integration of r cube dr? It is r raised to 4 upon 4. So So we get sigma 2 pi. Write down the answer of definite integration in a square bracket. So its answer is r raised to 4 upon 4, limit from 0 to r. Answer of definite integration is always written in a square bracket. Now apply the fundamental theorem of definite integration. Fundamental theorem of definite integration. So what is that theorem? First put the variable r, replace the variable r by the upper limit. So here we get sigma into 2 pi, upper limit is capital R, hence we get r raised to 4 upon 4, minus, now put the lower limit, means put small r is equal to 0. So 0 raised to 4 upon 4. So this second term is 0. Put the value of sigma. So what is sigma? It is m upon pi r square. So it is capital M upon pi r square into 2 pi into r raised to 4 upon 4. Simplify this expression. So what is the last step? IC is equal to pi, cancel, 2 ones are 2, 2 2s are 4, r raised to 4 upon r square means is only r square. So finally we get mr square upon 2. This is the moment of inertia of the disc about an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to its plane. Which case we discuss here? So we discuss the moment of inertia of a disc about an axis passing through center of mass and perpendicular to its plane. So this is the first case. See again the important steps. Assume that the disc is made up of large number of concentric rings. Thickness of all the rings are the same. We use a symbol dr for thickness of each ring, and dm is the mass of ring. For our convenience, we consider only one ring of mass dm, and its distance from the center is small r, its thickness is dr. Sigma is the linear mass density, means it is mass per unit area. So sigma is m upon capital R square. Apply the same definition for the ring so that we get the mass of the element, means mass of the ring. So sigma equal to mass of element upon area. Mass of the element means ring is dm, and area of the ring is circumference into thickness. So it is 2 pi r into dr. Therefore finally we get dm is sigma 2 pi r dr. Apply the definition of moment of inertia. So product of the mass and square of the distance from the axis of rotation. Using that we get the moment of inertia of element as a dm r square. Put the value of dm. Finally we get sigma into 2 pi r cube dr. Similarly we calculate the moment of inertia of all the elements and add them. That addition gives us the moment of inertia of the disk. So for addition here we use the method of integration. So here we use the method of integration, limit from 0 to capital R of moment of inertia of the element. Take sigma 2 pi outside the integration. Integration of r cube dr from this formula is r raised to 4 upon 4. Apply the fundamental theorem of definite integration, that is put small r is equal to capital R, that is upper limit first, then minus, put small r is equal to 0, that is lower limit. So this second term is 0. Put the value of sigma. After simplification we get IC is mr square by 2. So what is the difference between moment of inertia of the ring and disc about an axis passing through center of mass and perpendicular to its plane? So in case of IC formula is only mr square, and it is mr square by 2. Therefore what is its radius of gyration? Its radius of gyration is r by root 2. Now we follow the same process as that of the ring. Second case is moment of inertia of the disc about any diameter. So which theorem is applicable here? Take two diameters which are perpendicular to each other. That is why perpendicular axis theorem is applicable. So case number 2, about any diameter. Same process we follow here as that of the ring. Therefore, IC is what? Twice of ID. Use the same formula. IC is equal to ID plus ID. That is why here it is twice of ID. What is IC here? It is MR square by 2 is equal to 2 into ID. Therefore, we get ID is MR square by 4. So here we avoid some steps. Take two diameters which are perpendicular to each other. Therefore, the perpendicular axis theorem is applicable. By perpendicular axis theorem, we get IC is equal to ID plus ID. That is IC is twice of ID. Put the value of IC. Then we get ID is MR square by 4 and KD is R by 2. Case number 3. About tangent in the plane. About tangent in the plane. This tangent in the plane is parallel to the diameter A. Therefore, apply the parallel axis theorem. Tangent in the plane, we use the symbol ITP. So it is equal to ID plus MR square. By which theorem? By parallel axis theorem. So tangent in the plane is parallel to diameter A. What is the formula for ID? It is MR square by 4. And small r is nothing but capital R. Therefore, it is 1 MR square plus 4 MR square means it is 5 by 4 MR square. Moment of inertia about the tangent in the plane is 5 by 4 MR square. Its radius of gyration is root 5 upon 2 into R. How? Compare this formula with k square. So k square is 5 by 4 R square, hence k is root 5 by 2 into R. And the last case is about the tangent perpendicular to the plane. So such a tangent is parallel to the axis passing through the center and perpendicular to its plane. So our fourth case is about tangent perpendicular to the plane. Again, parallel axis theorem is applicable as that of the ring. So it is IT perpendicular is IC plus MR square. IC for disk is MR square by 2 and small r is what? Here capital R. So 1 MR square plus 2 MR square, it is 3 by 2 MR square. And therefore, what is its radius of gyration? It is root 3 by 2 into R. So thus we discuss moment of inertia of a rod in the last session. Then here we discuss the moment of inertia of a ring and moment of inertia of a disc. Now we consider the moment of inertia of a solid sphere. In brief, just we consider the formula because proof of the moment of inertia in case of a solid cylinder, solid spheres are not related to our syllabus, but to solve the moment of inertia in different cases, as an application we consider this topic now. Moment of inertia of a solid sphere. So in case of a solid sphere, there are only two cases. Moment of inertia of a solid sphere about any diameter and this axis is nothing but the axis passing through the center of mass. So it may be about an axis passing through center of mass. Passing through. So it is denoted by letter IC or ID. Both are same. So this one is the solid sphere of mass m and radius capital R. So this rod is rotated about this axis. Then it is say IC or ID. M is the mass and R for radius. So moment of inertia of such a solid sphere about any axis passing through its center of mass means it is about the diameter. So this moment of inertia IC is 2 by 5 mr square. Proof of this formula is not related to our syllabus, since we avoid it. Consider only the formula IC is 2 by 5 mr square. What is its Kc? It is root 2 by 5 into R. Compare this formula with mk square. Hence we get Kc is equal to root 5 by 2 R. Second case, in this case, is the moment of inertia about the tangent. So for solid sphere again only one tangent is there, and that tangent is parallel to the axis passing through the center of mass q axis along the diameter. So to find the moment of inertia about the tangent, we use the parallel axis theorem. So our second case is about tangent to the circular solid sphere, about the tangent to the solid sphere. So which theorem is applicable here? Parallel axis theorem is applicable. So by parallel axis theorem, we get IT is equal to IC plus mr square. IC is 2 by 5 mr square and small r is what? Capital R. 2 by 5 mr square plus mr square. Addition gives us 2 mr square plus 5 mr square. So it is 7 by 5 mr square. And what is its radius of gyration? It is root 7 by 5 into R. So only two cases are there in case of a solid sphere. Now see the difference between the moment of inertia of the solid sphere and hollow sphere. So our next topic is the moment of inertia of a hollow sphere. So in case of a hollow sphere again two cases are there. So what is the difference between these two cases? Only this digit is different. Means in case of a solid sphere it is 2 by 5 mr square. In case of a hollow sphere it is 2 by 3 mr square. So what is its IC? It is 2 by 3 mr square. See the comparison again. IC in case of a solid sphere is 2 by 5 mr square. In case of a solid it is 2 by 3 mr square. So hence its radius of gyration is root 2 by 3 into R. Apply the parallel axis theorem to find its moment of inertia about the tangent. So moment of inertia about the tangent IT is IC plus mr square. IC is 2 by 3 mr square. Small r is nothing but capital R. So 2 mr square plus 3 mr square means it is 5 by 3 mr square. And radius of gyration is root 5 by 3 into R. So moment of inertia of the solid sphere and moment of inertia of the hollow sphere. So only one difference we consider here. So here we use the digit 5 and in case of hollow we use the digit 3. So according to that, about the tangent moment of inertia is 7 by 5 mr square and it is here 5 by 3 mr square. Now last topic we consider here means related to moment of inertia. So moment of inertia of a cylinder. So consider the moment of inertia of a solid cylinder. For solid cylinder, again here we avoid the proof because proof are not related to our syllabus. But how many axes are there? So for the solid sphere, solid cylinder, we consider the different axes of rotation. So this is the solid cylinder of mass capital M and radius capital R. So first axis is the axis along its geometric axis, that is the moment of inertia of the solid cylinder about its own axis. So we use the symbol I own for it. Second one is axis coincide to the surface axis. These are the two axes. Third one is axis passing through the center of mass and perpendicular to its plane. That moment of inertia we denoted by IC. And fourth case is axis passing through one of its end and perpendicular to its plane, means it is IN. So how many formulae we consider here? 4. The moment of inertia about its own axis, moment of inertia about the axis coincide with its surface, moment of inertia about an axis passing through the center of mass, and moment of inertia about an axis passing through one end and perpendicular to its plane. So formula for I own is 1 upon 2 mr square किंवा mr square by 2. mr square by 2 किंवा 1 upon 2 mr square. So how will you remember this formula? So for our convenience we assume that this solid cylinder is made up of large number of identical elements. Each element is like a disc. So you are familiar with the moment of inertia of a disc about an axis passing through the center. Its formula is mr square by 2a. Similarly here, moment of inertia of the solid cylinder about its own axis is 1 upon 2 mr square, or it is mr square by 2. What is its radius of gyration? So radius of gyration is r by root 2. So then for this axis apply the parallel axis theorem. This small r is nothing but capital R. So what is the moment of inertia about an axis coincide with the surface? It is I own plus mr square by which theorem? Parallel axis theorem. So it is mr square by 2 plus mr square. So it is 1 mr square plus 2 mr square, means it is 3 by 2 mr square. And radius of gyration about the axis coincide with the surface is root 3 by 2 into r. So thus we consider these two cases. In the next session we consider the moment of inertia of the solid cylinder about an axis passing through the center and perpendicular to its plane and about one end. Okay, thank you.